This Yuletide Miniseries is a replay of episodes originally published in 2024. This way, the episodes are conveniently queued up in your podcast player so you don't have to go searching for them, and you never lose your spot in the listening order. As always, we're celebrating Yuletide in real time in the Numinous Network. I hope you'll join us for daily altar time from 10 to 10:30 a.m. Pacific, starting December 21st, winter solstice, and going through till New Year on January 1st. We're gathering on Zoom to check in, light our candles, and do a 20-minute guided trance journey to connect with the Yuletide theme of the day. So join us in the Numinous Network for Yuletide. Sign up at carmenspaniola.com. Welcome back. Welcome to the 8th day of Yuletide, when we attend to the needs of hearth and home. In many traditions, there's one night dedicated to completing household chores before the new year begins. In general, no unnecessary work was permitted during Yuletide, so specific occasions were set aside for chores and housework, catch-up, organization, and squaring away last-minute preparations for ringing in a new year. There were superstitions predicting ill fortune in the coming year if certain tasks were not complete by nightfall. Necessary housekeeping today included giving the barn a whitewashing and the kitchen a good clean. Anything borrowed must be returned by this time. All debts needed to be settled, and a few protective sprigs of herbs must be hung in your doorway to keep away bad spirits who might spoil your luck in the new year. So your spiritual practice today is to make yourself a to-do list and get at it. Today is a good day for banishing and protective magic. Hanging up any kind of banishing herb is just a simple ritual you could do for this day. Many banishing herbs make themselves known by being very spiky, such as milk thistle, nettle, cardoon, blackberry vine, or holly. Others make themselves known by being strongly scented, like pine, wormwood, and mugwort. Others are just straight-up poisonous, like hellebore and datura, also known as devil's trumpet. So a small sprig of any of those hanging above your front door will do. If you aren't familiar with plants or don't have any of those near where you live, you could also find some nettle-based tea at an herbal shop and just hang a sachet of that instead. A sprig of rowan, also called mountain ash, is one of the very best protective herbs you can find. Even lovelier than hanging a sprig is to make a garland from the red berries. Thread a needle with a long piece of red string. The color red is also protective. And string 366 berries to signify protection of your home for a year and a day. If you dry this garland in silica sand for a week, the berries will shrink without losing their bright red color. You can drape this garland on the tree for now and keep it up all year to keep your household safe from malevolent spirits and interference. Some Highland Scottish traditions offer a clear-cut alternative. You can keep an iron blade on the kitchen table this night. This will warn any malicious fairy folk that you mean business and won't tolerate their trouble in your home. And as we remember once again that we will still have to be careful about the roving vampires and werewolves, and so, maybe another rub of garlic on your livestock, thresholds, doors, and windows can't hurt. It also could smell super savory and really yummy. So in fact, while you're at it, why not make some fire cider? An ideal way to honor the hot month of August during our Yuletide replay of the year. Fire cider is a folk remedy tonic containing garlic, horseradish, onions, cayenne pepper, lemon, ginger, honey, and apple cider vinegar. It aids with colds, flu, digestion, and sinus congestion, and yes, does it ever. You could also make your own aperitif or digestif to ease indigestion from all the Yuletide feasting. To make a winter vermouth as an aperitif, and to prepare your gullet for dinner, you just go outside and forage a handful of unsprayed edible herbs and foliage, such as pine, spruce, or fir needles, cedar branches, or juniper berries. Then place them in a large jar and pour half a bottle of vodka over them. Add a strip of citrus peel, such as lemon, orange, or grapefruit, or one of each. If you want to add some culinary herbs, just 1 leaf or a half teaspoon chopped will do, of whichever herbs you prefer, like rosemary, thyme, basil, fennel, or sage. Now, in order to truly be an apéritif or digestif, there needs to be a bittering agent. Look no further than wormwood, the namesake of vermouth. If you have access to wormwood, also called artemisia, you should definitely add some. However, please note that it is super pungent and very toxic in large quantities. Again, no more than a teaspoon will be more than plenty. You could also substitute a different bitter root, such as dandelion. You can also add spices, such as star anise, cardamom, cinnamon, clove, nutmeg, or peppercorn. 1 to 3 of each is plenty. Let all of this steep overnight. Then the next day, in a pot on your stove, heat half a bottle of nice red wine over low heat, low heat, and then add half a cup of honey, more to taste if you like a very sweet vermouth, which I do. Heat through while you're stirring just until the honey dissolves, then quickly turn off the heat and cool slightly while you strain the vodka and discard the macerated ingredients. Return the infused vodka to the jar. At this point, if you want, you can add half a cup of tawny port to give your vermouth that nice aged flavor. Then add the warm sweetened red wine to the jar. Keep all this in the refrigerator and drink over ice or with soda before or after dinner. We've been making forage seasonal vermouths for several years and always have some in the fridge door. If consuming alcohol isn't your thing, though, you could also introduce the cleansing properties of plants into your home with foraged incense or potpourri. Simply put a small pot of water to boil on your stove and add star anise, cinnamon, nutmeg, clove, orange peel, fresh pine needles, maybe a piece of ginger, fresh or candied, and anything you forage. Let their magical and antiseptic qualities cleanse the air of your home and dispel any demons. You can also make incense from tree resins and put them on the fire if you have a fireplace, or in an incense burner if you have one. I usually blend 1 part resin, which is just dried sap I collect from pine or Doug fir trees, 1 part crushed juniper berries, 1 part powdered bark of any type of conifer, which I just crush using a mortar and pestle, and 1 part dried flowers, which are chosen mostly for their magical essence and their physical binding properties in this mixture. Crush them all together and sprinkle a bit on the fire as part of your cleansing ritual. The only thing to be really careful of here is not to pick sap resin directly from the wound of a tree. It's there to help them heal. You only want to harvest from the long drips below the wound, and only a small amount. The way to clean sap from your fingers is just with a bit of rubbing alcohol or hand sanitizer. Of course, the hearth was the most important part of ancient homes the world over. So if you do have a fireplace, make sure to clean out all the old ashes and give a good sweep today. If you don't have a fireplace, giving your oven a deep clean is a good modern alternative to cleaning out the ashes. It's also just a nice way to thank your home for providing safety, security, and nurturance for you and your family. You could also light a candle and contemplate the importance of fire, how its warmth and light provide safety, security, soothing, comfort, and often gathers companionship. Fire is considered the first element, the one that animates all the others, and is therefore sometimes called the soul of the world. Since this night of Yule is associated with the heat of high summer, any type of fire ritual is very appropriate.